evening, Zimbabwe. This is Change Radio News. Today is Tuesday, the 10th of June, 2025. The news read by Josephine Muchabayiwa. Here are the news headlines. President Chamisa's X account hacked in an alleged politically motivated cyber attack. 8 Zimbabweans die in horror crash in the United Kingdom. Mnangagwa and Chiwenga battle for war veterans' loyalty as ZANU-PF succession struggles intensifies. And now for the news in detail. Citizens leader Advocate Nelson Chamisa says his official X account, formerly Twitter, has been hacked. He believes this is a politically motivated cyber attack. In a statement this Tuesday morning, Chamisa described the perpetrators as cyber criminals and says the breach is serious and ongoing. His cybersecurity team is now working closely with X support to recover the account. While Chamisa didn't name those behind the hack, insiders in his movement suspect state security involvement, claiming there have been previous attempts to interfere with Chamisa's online presence. This attack comes at a time of rising political tension in Zimbabwe, where opposition figures frequently accuse the state of targeting them both online and offline. A joyous graduation celebration has ended in unimaginable heartbreak for 8 Zimbabweans who were killed in a horrific road accident near Dunstable in the United Kingdom late on Saturday night. The group was returning from a University of Bedfordshire graduation ceremony when their rented minibus collided with a heavy goods vehicle on a rain-slick A5. Emergency services say the impact was so severe that several passengers died instantly, with others succumbing to injuries before help arrived. The victims have been identified as Tafazwan Lovu, 28, of Luton, a healthcare worker and aspiring entrepreneur. Chipo Mavunga, 19, a recent A-level graduate from Leicester. Ruth Chikore, 21, a university graduate and talented singer from Birmingham. Simba Ndendere, 45, a respected community elder from Slough. Nyasha Gwenzi, 15, a high school student who had travelled with her aunt. Bati Zinyoro, 35, a popular UK-based DJ and events host. Tendai Mufambi, 34, a father of 2 from Northampton. And Precious Makanda, 25, sister to the graduate they were celebrating. The crash has sent shockwaves throughout the Zimbabwean diaspora across the United Kingdom, with prayer vigils and memorials being organized in Dunstable, London and Leicester. Social media is filled with tributes and photos of the vibrant lives lost in a split second. The Zimbabwean embassy in London has confirmed it is working with authorities and families to assist with repatriation and funerals. As the fight for control of ZANU-PF's post-2028 leadership heats up, war veterans of the liberation struggle have become a crucial battleground in the escalating political succession struggle between President Emmerson Mnangagwa and his vice Constantino Chiwenga. The war veterans hold historic significance and remain a powerful political force. Chiwenga's faction, supported by prominent war veterans like Andries Ethan Matibela and Blessed Geza, has positioned itself as a voice of dissent within the veteran community. In response, Mnangagwa has mounted a vigorous counter-offensive, aiming to win over the veterans through a series of state-funded empowerment initiatives. Critics say these initiatives are politically motivated, designed to secure loyalty and block Chiwenga's ambitions ahead of the 2028 succession deadline. As we recount memories of activists lost to the brutal ZANU-PF regime, we turn our eyes to Mutoko at Katsukunya Primary School. On Wednesday, June 4, 2008, Headmaster Shepherd Cheu did not show up at school. He had been abducted by unknown armed men the previous night, Tuesday, June 3, 2008. The assailants accused him of being a sellout due to his alleged support for the opposition. No charges, no warning, and no one to defend him. His family screamed as he was taken away at gunpoint. That was the last he was seen alive. 3 days later, school children found his body, dumped and completely naked, with visible deep wounds of torture. Students screamed, teachers wept, terrified at the brutality that had claimed the life of their beloved school head. His severely mutilated body was found near Mutoko Center. One eye had been gouged out and his genitals removed. His killers sought humiliation and terror to instill fear and silence. There was no justice, no investigation, no arrests, and no government official ever spoke his name. Shepherd Cheu joins countless Zimbabweans lost to the ZANU-PF regime's pursuit of political power. His widow, traumatized by the murder, died of stress 2 years later. We remember his name, Shepherd Cheu, a teacher, a leader, a man who didn't deserve to die that way. Tinoma Chakaire, the seemingly vocal ZANU-PF Minister of Youth, is doing what many believe the party's youth should be doing, asking questions and challenging the status quo. Machakaire says ZANU-PF party members should give ED the true story. He stated this will help Zimbabwe and ZANU-PF, emphasizing the importance of President Mnangagwa knowing what is truly happening in the country. He addressed party supporters in Weather South over the weekend at a graduation of more than 400 trainees at the Tanganyika Trust Vocational Training Center, stating it does not help the former liberation movement to hide the truth from Mr. Mnangagwa. Harare residents are against the government's directive to the city council to award ZANU-PF member and businessman Philip Chiangwa land as compensation, calling the move unlawful. The Ministry of Local Government recently instructed the Harare City Council to allocate land to Chiangwa's Pinnacle Holdings as compensation for property acquired by the government. Ruben Akili, director of the Combined Harare Residents Association, stated the directive violates the constitution by interfering in local authority affairs and undermining the devolution agenda.
We implore Harare City Council to desist and halt transferring of municipal land to a third party. I think under the instruction from the Ministry of Local Government. I think it's very, very important. Again, this again is in line with Chapter 14, which speaks to devolution. Because some of the land which needs to be alienated or given or transferred to the third party, the local authority had committed it somewhere, trying to then overpower the local authority and then give that land to an individual or probably to another person under a directive from the center. It's a direct attack to devolution provided for in the Constitution. Section 276, subsection 1 of the Constitution gives the local authority the right to govern on its own initiative and the local affairs of its people within the area of which it has been established. So it's very, very important that this has to be known. And again, Section 274, subsection 1 and subsection 2 gives the councillors, the power, to run the local affairs of the local authority. Our worry, the councillors have not been realizing that they have that power to run the affairs of the city of Harare. We are worried that some of our councillors, have been watching, some of, or not taking decisive action, not appreciating that the Constitution of Zimbabwe gives them power to run the local affairs of the city of Harare. So pushing, a resolution to say that this is a directive from central government doesn't mean remove reasoning from the brains of these councillors. Doesn't stop due diligence to happen. That doesn't also stop even to reject such a directive if it is not in line with the laws, even if it is not in the best interest of Harare. So whether it's a directive from the center or whatever, we really need to appreciate that this has to be reasonable, this has to be lawful, this has to be in tandem with the Constitution.
Another looting scheme has reportedly been added to the Presidential War Veterans Empowerment Program. This time is called the Presidential Empowerment Scheme for Children of Veterans and Liberation. According to ZBC Online News, it's meant to improve the livelihoods of families of former freedom fighters. This raises questions and suspicions about it being a replica of last week's program and how war veterans are separated from their families when it comes to benefiting. What's more concerning is that such a presidential scheme reportedly goes into implementation without parliamentary approval, blurring the lines between ZANU-PF and government. In economic news, N. Richards, once one of Zimbabwe's leading wholesalers and retailers, has shut down its Mutare branch. This follows similar closures in its Hatcliffe and Tinwald outlets in Harare earlier this year as operational challenges escalate amidst deepening economic instability. This trend is symptomatic of broader turmoil in Zimbabwe's formal retail sector, where even major players like OK Zimbabwe and SPAR are scaling back. Botswana-owned Choppies departed the Zimbabwean market entirely in 2023, and Mohamed Musa has reduced its shop space by 60%. The Confederation of Zimbabwe Retailers has sounded alarm bells, attributing the crisis to policy inconsistencies, particularly the government's handling of dual currency system. News from local communities. There is a growing problem haunting travelers at long-distance bus terminals in Zimbabwe. At some points, even in South Africa, Zimbabwean travelers find themselves at the mercy of aggressive bus touts known as Mawindi. Recently, cross-border trader Charlotte Dube was reportedly abducted by a Zebra Kiss bus crew and brutally assaulted at their garage in Harare at Beni suburb. Charlotte had boarded a bus in Zambia when a fellow passenger mistakenly accused her of stealing a parcel. The crew, believing the accusation, drove Charlotte to the company's garage where a group of men allegedly beat her with planks, causing injuries to her hands, buttocks and back. The aggrieved passenger later clarified that her parcel had not been stolen. The Zebra Kiss manager reportedly apologized to Charlotte, offering a $300 refund, which Charlotte refused. The matter of assault has been reported to the police. The University of Zimbabwe lecturers' strike has now entered its 57th day. The teachers have vowed they are not returning to class until their demands, including a minimum salary of $2,250 for junior lecturers, are met. The ZANU-PF-led government seems reluctant or unable to meet these demands. In international news, South Africa is leading Africa's first lunar mission, Africa to Moon, set to launch with China's Chang'e 8. This groundbreaking project will place a radio telescope on the Moon far side, marking a historic step for the continent's space exploration and deepening our understanding of the universe's low-frequency signals. Hundreds of volunteers left Tunisia on Monday in a land convoy heading towards Gaza, hoping to break Israel's blockade on the territory. The Sumund convoy, meaning steadfastness in Arabic, aims to alleviate the suffering of besieged Gaza residents and to show support to the Palestinian cause. Several Tunisian organizations, including youth groups, are participating. And finally, in sports news, the Warriors training camp in Morocco has been rocked by a players' strike threat ahead of today's friendly against Niger. Players are demanding outstanding allowances, prompting fears they may boycott the match. ZIFA President Mobile Magwizi says the players' concerns are genuine and efforts are underway to resolve the issue. He explained that while part payments were made, priority was also given to accommodation and travel costs for recent friendlies. Magwizi says the new ZIFA board is working to rebuild trust, having applied for FIFA funds and engaged corporates and government for support. Coach Michael Neese remains hopeful the match will go ahead as he continues to assess players ahead of upcoming World Cup qualifiers and the Africa Cup of Nations. Luton Town has been urged to keep Zimbabwean midfielder Marvelous Nakamba despite his recent injury setbacks and uncertainty over his future at the club. Nakamba is still under contract with the League One side after their relegation, although his wages are reportedly being reviewed. Luton Town fan pundit Simon Mills told Football League World that he expects Nakamba to stay, saying not many clubs would be willing to match his current wage due to his injury record. While Nakamba hasn't been at his best lately, he remains a loved figure at the club and fans would be happy if he stays. To end the news bulletin, here are the headlines once again. President Chamisa's X account hacked in an alleged politically motivated cyber attack. 8 Zimbabweans die in a horror crash in the United Kingdom. Mnangagwa and Chiwenga battle for war veterans' loyalty as ZANU-PF succession struggle intensifies. And that concludes our bulletin for today. We thank you for listening. From myself, Josephine Mujabaiwa, and the entire team at Change Radio, we wish you a good night.